Last item in the big five is going to be understanding your retailer and what they're looking for. The reason why we had building a buzz and finding the right placement for your product and packaging and knowing your pricing and all of those other steps before understanding your retailer and what they're looking for is because those are so important in determining where you're going to be pitching your product. If you're going to be pitching your product. At the end of the day, if you're going to be able to make money with the margins that are required and the fees that are going to come out. Having a retailer in mind is always a great way to have a goal, but being flexible and changing that retailer is going to be the best path for success. So if your product is on the shelves and you find that you're selling better in the home goods section than the pharmacy, then knowing that Home Goods is a great retailer and knowing that Home Depot and Lowe's and Ace Hardware are going to be probably better retail buyers for you to approach than CVS, Walgreens, Walmart, those kind of buyers. Having that information behind you will make you a much stronger entrepreneur when you get in front of the retail buyer for the pitch. But before you do that, you have to know which retailers you're targeting. That's step one. Nobody can decide that for you. You have to come up with it yourself. And there's no issues with a shotgun approach because when you put your product out there, you never know which buyers are going to be interested because they don't want to talk to you that day. They don't want to deal with a new product. There's a million different reasons why it may not move forward. But using a shotgun approach is a great way to gauge interest. Knowing their buying cycle, if you have a dedicated target like Dick's Sporting Goods, they only restock their shelves twice a year. Knowing exactly when they do that rotation in inventory is going to be essential for knowing when to contact the buyer and knowing what their buying cycle is. If they buy your product this month, they may not put it on the shelves for another 3 months. They may stock it, they may do a local test, they may do a million things. But knowing what the possibilities are beforehand will allow you to time your launch accordingly. And being prepared for any fees, slotting fees, any associated fees. I know one time we had to pay to get a product on the shelf by investing in their NASCAR. So knowing any associated fees that may pop up is very important. Those kind of fees can make or break a deal. Sometimes the buyers pad themselves with slotting fees. By padding themselves with slotting fees, they ensure that it's not going to be a loss for the retailer at the end of the day. That they're going to look good to their boss, that they're going to hit their numbers, and that they're going to excel in their career. That's a choice between you, your CFO, and the buyer. Nobody can tell you whether that's the right path forward, but knowing your pricing, not negotiating past your bottom line should allow for room to be prepared for slotting fees. You have to have a lot of money behind you to allow for inventory, to allow for customer service, to allow for legal help. All of these different things are going to be important when bringing a product to a big box buyer. Understanding regional testing and rollout is going to be the next big step. When a retailer brings a new product on, it's very rare that they bring it out to their entire network. They usually do regional testing and then they roll out to different regions based on success. If they do a regional test with your product, it's going to be up to you to promote your product the best you can to drive foot traffic through the door. Using promotions like direct mail, using TV promotions, radio promotions, internet promotions, anything where you can get a coupon or something in front of your buyer to get them to go into the store to buy your product is going to be extremely advantageous. Because at the end of the day, if you're being regionally tested and you don't sell out, then you're not going to get rolled out. So knowing what is success in your buyer's eyes, knowing what success is looking like in your eyes as far as how many units are going to be sold per day is going to be essential to set a benchmark, and it's all about execution after that. You're not going to have a lot of time. That's why knowing this ahead of time is going to be essential. So if you get a purchase order 1 week and it's going to be regionally tested within the next 2 weeks, you're not going to have the time to build your marketing program around that to contact the radio stations. However, you're planning on getting the word out. You're not going to be able to do that within that allotted time. It's important that you have everything prepared ahead of time in the chance of your success, in the eventuality of your success. Preparing for retail success is the most important thing that you can do when bringing a product to market. Knowing all of this information ahead of time will make you a much more capable entrepreneur. It will make you a much more standout retail seller, and it'll make the retail buyers much more confident that your product will perform at its best on the shelf.